After waking up in a new life, I ripped up the letter saying I got into Peking University. I also rejected the heartfelt apologies of two guys who had asked me out. Why? Because in my old life, I picked one of them, Ethan. He left me for Ava on the day we were supposed to get married. This made my grandmother, who was my whole world, pass away from being so upset. I was heartbroken. The other guy held my hand and promised he'd always be there for me. He did stay with me when things were hard, but after we got married, he grew cold. I figured it was because we couldn't have children. Then, in a car crash, he chose to save Ava, who was barely hurt instead of me. I was dying, and he didn't even try. As my spirit floated around, I learned my life was a cruel game for them. They had signed papers long ago, giving all their money to Ava. And I found out I couldn't have kids because they paid a doctor to take out my womb. They did this to show Ava how much they cared. In this fresh start, I was determined to avoid them and live for myself. When I destroyed the Peking University letter, my teacher, Linda, was stunned. "Linda, what are you even doing? 4 students from our school are attending Peking University this year," she exclaimed, "and you're the only one who got accepted with the highest score in the entire city." Not just her, but all the school's teachers had placed great expectations on me. I said calmly, "I've changed my mind about Peking University. I've been accepted into National University's research program. They've promised to provide a medical team for my grandma." "Oh, I understand. I'm aware of your unique home life," she replied. "Work diligently and aim for a successful future to honor your grandmother's care." I agreed, not having time to dwell on the sadness of my past. Ethan and Charlie were already rushing to find me. People always stared and whispered about me. Someone even made me fall down the stairs and insulted me. Feeling puzzled, I stood up, favoring my sore leg. As I turned a corner, I heard Ava talking with the 2 guys who had pursued me. I did witness Linda exiting the Peking University officials' vehicle very late, but that's not evidence of anything, she said. Perhaps Linda genuinely earned her place. "Ava, stop taking her side. She hasn't shown her scores, so she's probably hiding something," one of them retorted. "Exactly, Ava. You're always so forgiving, which is why she takes advantage of you," the other added. "That kind of manipulative person is capable of anything." I had agreed to keep my scores private after entering the research program. I didn't think Ava would use it to attack me. And those guys, who knew how much I studied for my grandma, still sided with Ava. I smiled wryly, reassuring myself that everything would be fine. Once I started school, my personal details would be protected. Then I could cut them off completely, free from these painful words and the lies I had foolishly believed, which led to my lonely death. I acted like I hadn't heard anything and walked up to them. "What are you looking for?" I asked. Ethan's look of disgust changed to a smile when he saw me. "Linda, it's wonderful. We'll be classmates again. Your efforts have paid off," he said. Charlie had the same expression, adding, "We can continue to look after you, but 4 years isn't sufficient. It must be a lifetime commitment." Some girls nearby gave me envious glances, but I was numb inside. In my previous life, all 4 of us attended the same university. I worked tirelessly to build a good future, participating eagerly in school events. But in the end, my scholarship and my guaranteed spot for further studies were swapped for Ava's. Rumors circulated about me having improper relationships with school staff. I was harassed and alone for 4 years. Back then, these 2 claimed they would always have my back. But when I died, I discovered they were behind it all. My endless nights of crying were just entertainment to please Ava. Seeing my quietness, Ava spoke with a hint of bitterness. "Linda is so fortunate, born into wealth, with 2 admirers so dedicated to her," she said. "I'm not as lucky. Without Linda's support, I wouldn't have been able to stay in school." Hearing this, the 2 looked troubled. "Ava, don't say that. You're beautiful and talented. You'll have a great career. I'll ask my father to offer you a management role," one said. "No, Ava, join my company. I'll give you a better position and a higher salary. Anything you desire is yours," the other offered. They began to one-up each other with promises to Ava. The bitterness inside me grew. All these years, Those promises and that love were never meant for me. False affection can't hold a candle to real emotions. Duresi was getting ready to depart when Ethan seemed to have something to share, looking somewhat hesitant. He took my hand and said, "Linda, please don't misunderstand. We treat Ava nicely because she's your friend." Charlie ruffled my hair playfully like he used to when we were younger, saying, "Don't let your thoughts wander. We've just completed our exams. Let's go for a ride. We have a surprise for you." I nodded, not saying no. I'm leaving soon, I thought. I wanted one last look at the town where we all grew up. In the parking area, Ethan and Charlie were pushing for Ava to sit up front. Ava glanced at me, acting conflicted. "Won't Linda be angry? Isn't she usually the only one who sits in your front seat? If I sit there, Linda might get upset," she said. Ethan placed Ava in the front seat before anyone could respond. "She won't be bothered. She won't. Linda is very understanding," he assured. Charlie gave Ethan a look of annoyance before shutting the car door firmly, sulking slightly. Just as the car was starting, they noticed I hadn't gotten in. They lowered the windows, looking awkward, trying to explain, but struggling to find the words. "It's fine, I'll take my own car," I said. Hearing that, they both looked relieved, though a bit confused by my different attitude. "Linda," I rolled up the window, not wanting to listen to their made-up stories. But as I drove, the familiar places brought back a rush of strong memories. The three of us had been friends since childhood. Both families had hoped I would marry into their families. Unfortunately, after my parents died in an accident, the large Miller family was just me and my grandma, trying to keep our unstable home afloat in a world full of dangers. So I focused on my studies, hoping to take on the family duties sooner. Ava, however, grew up poor and was never popular in school. Learning. She was also an orphan. I empathized with her and became her friend, helping her with school costs and urging her to stay strong with me. I never imagined she'd see my generosity as pity, resent everything I had, and use any means to take my two friends, working together to destroy my life. Lost in thought, I reached the place. What had just happened made the two guys nervous. They hurried over to open my door and take my bag. "Linda, look, this is the park we visited as children," one said. "Charlie and I purchased it, and it will be our special place." Charlie agreed, saying, "I've planted the yellow roses you adore here. By next year, it will be a magnificent sea of roses. Then we can all visit for drives, watch the stars, and look forward to the future." Their faces were hopeful, but I looked at the land quietly. It was our secret spot as kids, full of memories. But I never liked yellow roses. I'm allergic to the pollen of all flowers. While I was thinking, fireworks started, and my name lit up the sky in bright colors. In this dreamlike scene, Ethan showed me a jade bracelet. "Linda, this is a treasured family item. My parents wanted me to give it to the future Mrs. Wilson. I've been meaning to give it to you, but only now found the right moment. Linda, please be with me. Do you recall when you nearly drowned and I rescued you? I'd sacrifice my life for you. So, what's a bracelet?" In a previous life, I was deceived by their shows of love. I foolishly believed childhood friends would have a joyful ending and that Grandma and the Miller family would have support. Only when I died did I learn such affection could be a lie. I was about to say no when Ava spoke up. "Linda, why are you telling others I'm creating gossip about you? Now everyone is criticizing me," she said. She showed me her phone. The school's website had many comments calling me disgraceful, claiming I had slept my way through school. A few people who tried to defend me were twisted into attacking her. Charlie grabbed the phone, angry. "Linda, how could you? Ruining yourself is bad enough, but why involve Ava?" Ethan, calmer, still looked at me with doubt. I held back my feelings. "I didn't do it. You can investigate if you doubt me," I replied. Neither listened. They were focused on comforting Ava. "Ava, don't worry. I'll contact public relations to handle this," one said. "Let's get ice cream. It'll cheer you up," the other suggested. Both led Ava away, not even glancing back. I sighed deeply, watching the fireworks' ashes fall. Compared to life and death, these troubles were small. At least I was alive with a new beginning and a hopeful future. Wanting to go home, I remembered Charlie had my bag. I ran after them. Passing some shrubs, I heard Charlie talking impatiently. Ava, darling, how much longer must we pretend? I can't take it anymore. Who knows what illnesses Linda might have from her reckless behavior? Linda couldn't even distinguish a genuine antique from a knockoff. No surprise she was tricked into bed by older guys. How does someone like her deserve to be the Wilson family's leader? Ava, the real bracelet is only fitting for you, another voice said. Ava, pretending to be worried, looked at them. Linda did many bad things, but she's helped me. How could I disregard her? If you don't follow my instructions, I won't speak to you again, she threatened. Hearing this, the two spoiled guys immediately apologized to Ava, wanting to lift her up at my expense. 10 years of friendship couldn't compare to Ava's few words. I held back my tears and walked away. In the dark night, I walked home, exhausted. By the time I arrived, my injured ankle was very swollen. Grandma anxiously brought some medicine to help. I was afraid she'd be even more worried, so I told her about my school plans. Grandma was thrilled. My Linda is excelling. I've grown old. You're the only one capable of upholding the Miller family, she said. I nodded, my eyes filled with tears. After so many years, finally, good news from the Miller family. Grandma will host a big celebration for you, she declared. Grandma's happy expression was the same as when she sent me off to get married in the past. She believed I had found a good person, but I passed away at the wedding, devastated by Ethan's betrayal. In this new chance at life, I would make sure Grandma and I wouldn't make the same mistakes. Grandma's getting older, I thought, so I took control of planning the entire event. 2 of my friends heard about it and came to assist. They even brought my favorite childhood strawberry cake as an apology. Linda, we haven't contacted you in so long. Are you still upset about what occurred recently? We didn't intend to accuse you. We were just concerned you might stray. For those of us with reputations, it's crucial, they said. I didn't pardon them, but I allowed them to stay and help. In my past life, they owed me so much. Those hurts can't just disappear. This life, I just don't want to interact with them again. After my parents passed away, the Miller family's standing declined. But now, I've changed things, showing that the Miller family has strong heirs. We're not weak anymore. That's why Grandma placed so much importance on this gathering. She wasn't risking anything. On the day of the celebration, many important people attended. Ava arrived with the 2 friends, dressed in an expensive dress. She looked at the fancy ballroom, envy evident in her eyes. Linda's life is great, huh? But it won't matter if you're all noble and intelligent. I have my methods to make your existence miserable, she thought. As soon as those words were out, the screen in the room displayed my pictures, each one showing me unclothed with different men. Isn't that the eldest Miss Miller? She's promiscuous, huh? No wonder people claim she slept her way to success, someone commented. The Miller family is ruined, sending their daughter to be someone's mistress, another added. I faced these whispers and tears twice in my previous existence. Once on my wedding day, when Ethan abandoned me for Ava, breaking Grandma's heart and turning the Miller name into a joke. And once at my funeral, when Charlie proposed to Ava right at the service, making my life seem meaningless. Remembering those moments, I quickly looked at Grandma. She was struggling to breathe, her eyes red as she stared at the images. My Linda would never engage in such behavior, she gasped. Seeing her like that, my heart sank. I pleaded with those nearby to take her to the hospital, but they backed away, treating me like I was contagious. Finally, my 2 friends stepped forward. Ethan volunteered to drive, while Charlie and I supported Grandma to the hospital. Fortunately, you arrived promptly. Any delay could have been deadly, the doctor informed us. I thanked him quickly and stayed by Grandma's side, reviewing the security recordings. Just as I thought, Ava was there, tampering with the images. Every one of those photos was a fake, created digitally. I took the recording to report it, but the friend stopped me. It was merely a prank. Must you escalate it this way? You realize you'll destroy Ava, right? One asked. I was shocked, then finally lost my temper and shouted, And what about me? My grandma nearly passed away. Doesn't she matter? She's ruining me and the whole Miller family. Charlie moved to protect Ava, pushing me roughly. Get over it, Linda. Your grandma is okay, isn't she? Where there's smoke, there's fire. You must have done something disgraceful for those rumors to begin, he said. His words couldn't hurt anymore. My heart was numb. I pushed them away as Ethan grabbed my wrist, his expression stern. Linda, don't waste your time. You know our families can ensure no lawyer accepts this case, he threatened. When I didn't back down, Ethan squeezed harder. Remember, your grandma is still hospitalized. I could halt her treatment with a single call, he warned. He called someone right then. I was mistaken. I fell to my knees, crying. I couldn't risk Grandma's life. Charlie took my phone, breaking it into pieces. You'll never harm Ava while we're here, he said, looking down at me. I sat on the floor, pain finally hitting me. Once their shadows vanished, 2 lifetimes of hurt erupted, and I wept uncontrollably. Childhood promises were empty. The friend's love was false. Only the pain was genuine. I don't know how long I stayed like that before pulling myself back to the hospital. Worried Ethan and Charlie might interfere, I stayed with Grandma constantly for days. During that period, Ava kept sending me many messages. She went traveling, bungee jumping with the friends, doing all the things we once dreamed of but never did. I blocked her number. Looking up, I saw 2 authoritative men standing near Grandma's bed. They saluted me. Linda, we're medical staff assigned by the organization. Don't worry, while you're gone, we'll guarantee your grandma is safe and well, they said. I knew it was time to depart. I went back to the Miller house, removing anything connected to those friends. Then I got on a plane, not turning back. Ethan and Charlie aren't my protectors. I must depend on myself. For Grandma, for the Miller family, and a promising future. After their trips, school was starting soon. Ethan and Charlie were enjoying themselves, but some worry lingered. They knew the Ava situation had gone too far. Linda's experienced hardship, losing her parents early. It's just her and a sick grandma now. If she made a mistake, it wasn't entirely her fault, they thought. After all, they had grown up together. If Linda was wrong, it was their responsibility to help and guide her as older brothers. Thinking this over, they purchased many gifts for Linda on their way home. After arriving, they took various health items to the hospital to see Grandma. But they were stopped. The lady has a unique status. Please do not disrupt her recovery, they were informed. Being called irrelevant people hurt Ethan and Charlie. They had been with Linda since childhood. They were like relatives, maybe even closer. How could they accept being excluded so easily? Charlie wanted to fight back. Ethan frowned slightly and stopped him. As the Wilson family's heir, he sensed that the person before them was important. What about Linda? Where is she? Let her come out and inform you if we really are outsiders, Ethan insisted. But all he received was a cold, 4-word response. No comment. They left, feeling sad and annoyed. Charlie was furious and began criticizing. Linda's behavior is worsening. Who knows where she learned this? Honestly, we pampered her excessively. Let's just visit the old residence, Ethan proposed, feeling worried. It felt like something was lacking inside him, creating a strange emptiness. When they reached the old house, it was completely dark with no one around. Even Charlie was scared by this. They climbed the fence and sneaked into the old house, as they did when they were children. They went directly to Linda's room but discovered it empty. Besides a layer of dust, nothing remained. What occurred? Where did Linda go? Ethan said, shocked. Where are all the items I gifted her? She used to value them. My gifts are missing too, and so are our group photos and travel diaries, Charlie added, his voice filled with disbelief. They looked at each other, feeling a deep sense of unease. Where could she possibly have gone? The Miller family has been struggling for years. Who would have the means to take her in? Charlie wondered aloud. She must be hiding to spite us. When we find her, I'll really let her have it. The Miller family might have declined, but that doesn't give her the right to treat us like this, he fumed. The two began contacting friends, inquiring about Linda's whereabouts. They instructed their family's security teams to search every corner of the city. But by morning, after searching everywhere, there was still no trace of Linda. All her identification and bank accounts were inactive. They couldn't even approach the only person who might know her location. Linda, who had always been a constant presence in their lives, was gone. vanished without a trace, as if she had dissolved into thin air. Both Ethan and Charlie were overwhelmed by fear and sorrow. Even an invitation from Ava couldn't lift their spirits. Where did Linda go? They pondered. Is she angry with us? Will she ever come back to us? The room was filled with silence. The intelligent, cheerful girl they once knew would not be returning. After a lengthy flight and car ride, I finally arrived at my new location. The professor greeted me with warmth. Ah, we've been anticipating your arrival, the gifted one. When we learned you had initially chosen Peking University, we were devastated. We couldn't allow such potential to be wasted, he said. Thank you, Professor. I'll strive to meet your expectations, I replied, bowing respectfully. The professor inquired why I had initially selected Peking University. I paused, hesitant. It was Ethan and Charlie's aspiration. We had grown up together, close friends from childhood to adulthood. We had vowed to attend the same university and remain together always. Then Ava came into the picture and took my place. Ethan and Charlie were admitted as special cases, thanks to their family's influence. They invested a significant amount to ensure Ava's admission as well. Yet they then turned around and damaged my reputation. Remembering that, I laughed softly. I was young and foolish, trusted the wrong individuals, and took the wrong path. Now, with a second opportunity, I won't make the same mistakes. Life has granted me a do-over, and I plan to use it wisely, I explained. The professor patted my shoulder, looking relieved. Excellent. Very good. I was concerned whether a young woman like you could endure the challenges, but you appear well. The future is in your hands, he said. No challenge could be as bad as my old life. At least now, Grandma was still living, and I hadn't wasted my years on two undeserving individuals. In the days that followed, I dedicated myself entirely to my studies. One day, as I was leaving the laboratory, I unexpectedly encountered Ethan and Charlie. I rubbed my eyes, wondering if my late-night studying was causing hallucinations. But they clearly called out my name. A fellow student cautioned me quietly, Linda, be careful around these wealthy guys. I've heard they contributed $20 million to the lab just for a chance to visit. Charlie, irritated by our conversation, pulled me aside. Can't you avoid causing problems? Always seeking attention. If you're so needy, just marry me, he said, gesturing for the student to leave, aware that Charlie's anger would only escalate the situation. Ethan, maintaining some composure, gave me a puzzled look. Linda, why did you depart so abruptly? Why did you suddenly alter your plans? Why did you throw away what we offered you? Why did you abandon us? He asked. A series of questions made my head spin. I rubbed my temples, feeling frustrated. Ethan, what makes you think you have the authority to interrogate me? What are you to me? I asked. I am. His hand remained suspended in the air, struggling to find the right words. In this life, I hadn't accepted his declaration of love. I wasn't infatuated with him. To me, he was insignificant. As for that insignificant childhood affection, it had completely vanished after being repeatedly wounded. Even the consistently arrogant Charlie adjusted his superior demeanor. He lowered his head slightly and said, Linda, what we did previously was incorrect, but you didn't have to be so harsh. Did you even realize how intensely we looked for you? They informed me that after I departed, they were so frantic it nearly drove them mad. Ultimately, they had no alternative but to implore my grandma to reveal my whereabouts. Grandma, compassionate, and having watched them grow up, couldn't bear to witness their distress and disclose my choice to them. That I hadn't selected either of them. I had opted for a completely different life. That's why they pursued me here, utilizing all their connections and spending a lot just for another glimpse of me. But my heart remained unaffected. I retrieved my phone and played a recording from the day they had confessed their feelings, capturing what they had said to Ava. Then, I looked at the two of them, my expression unchanged. Stop the pretense, the game is over, I stated. If you have feelings for Ava, then pursue her. Don't use my entire life to satisfy your so-called grand love. I have my own existence to live, and I hope you won't bother me anymore. As soon as those words left my mouth, their once forceful expressions turned ashen. They opened their mouths, but couldn't utter a single word. Only the recording continued to play repeatedly. Charlie attempted to grab my phone, but I stepped back, glaring at him. This is a research facility, and there are security guards present. Don't even consider destroying my phone to eliminate evidence. And don't even think about using my grandma as a threat, I warned. Mentioning grandma, an indescribable pain pierced my chest. Grandma had treated them so kindly, almost like her own grandchildren. Summer's refreshing drinks, winter's warm clothing, from treats to presents. Everything was prepared in sets of 3. But what about them? They used her life to threaten me when I was at my weakest and most vulnerable. I can't pardon them. I won't pardon them. Ethan's serious face displayed a hint of sorrow. Linda, it's not how you perceive it. I only intended to frighten you that day. Grandma is like our own family. How could I genuinely harm her? He said. Precisely, Linda. Remember, we assisted you in getting Grandma to the hospital. Charlie chimed in, looking nervous, but not daring to approach after glancing around. I scoffed. I took that into account, so I didn't hold it against you. But my tolerance has its limits. Ethan, Charlie, I'm not the defenseless girl I once was. I won't allow anyone to harm me or my grandma. The road ahead is long. I don't have the time or energy to waste on individuals who aren't worth it, I declared. They attempted to say more, but the research center's security intervened. I apologize, gentlemen, but the visiting time has concluded. Please depart so we can resume our work in peace, they said. Reluctantly, they left. After walking a short distance, Ethan turned back to look at me. Linda, we've known each other since childhood. I can't fathom your heart being so unfeeling, disregarding our shared past. We made errors, but we'll demonstrate our genuine feelings. Our affection for you has remained constant, he said. Charlie nodded sincerely. One day you'll pardon us, he added. Hearing these words now, I find them only amusing. In both past and present lives, they uttered the same phrases. Back then, they exploited childhood memories to deceive me, manipulating me into marriage, leaving me isolated in an empty house, squandering my life. I don't comprehend. I was the one who grew up alongside them. So why didn't they trust me? Why did they inflict so much pain on me for Ava, someone they had only recently met? And I don't understand. If they loved Ava, why did they now pretend to be deeply in love with me? I don't know if these words are sincere or just more manipulation for Ava's benefit. All I know is that my future doesn't include them, and I don't wish to see them again. But I underestimated their determination. For a period, the food at the research center improved significantly, filled with dishes I enjoyed. Every afternoon, a strawberry cake arrived precisely on time. Everyone, from the managers to the cleaning staff, would receive one. My senior couldn't help but remark, Linda, are they attempting to win you over? They're truly going all out. Jealous? I asked. What's there to be jealous about? Anyone who chooses this path wouldn't be concerned with such minor things, she replied. True enough, I thought. I'm no longer the girl who would be influenced by a cake or flattering words. Now, I have a promising future, a wonderful life. Ethan and Charlie are merely insignificant figures in the long journey of my existence. But the more uncaring I was, the more persistent their efforts became. A deluge of gifts arrived, pushing me to the edge of frustration. Ultimately, it was my professor who brought an end to this absurd charade. I enjoyed some tranquility for a while, but when I returned home for a break, I couldn't avoid encountering them again. This time, they both appeared exhausted. One, a dignified heir to a prosperous family, the other, a defiant rich child. Now they both seemed worn out, lacking the youthful energy they once possessed. I am assisting Grandma as we stroll around the yard, enjoying the sunshine, when Ethan and Charlie appear with a tearful Ava. Linda, we must speak with you. I know you're reluctant to see us, but this is our final attempt. If we don't express these feelings, we won't find peace, one of them said. I didn't want to engage with them, but Grandma gently squeezed my hand. Go ahead. Avoiding issues never resolves them. Whatever the result, you require closure, she advised. Reluctantly, I led them into the living area. As soon as they entered, Ethan and Charlie knelt down. They appeared as though they were trapped in an unending torment. Linda, the evening after you departed, We both experienced the same dream. In it, we committed dreadful acts against you. The dream felt so authentic, as if it had truly occurred. That's when we comprehended why you left, why you've been so distant, they explained. I remained quiet, but tears were already flowing down their faces. Suddenly, Ava rushed towards me, sobbing loudly. Linda, please assist me. I never intended to disrupt things between you. I didn't do anything wrong. I simply admired both of them and desired to reciprocate your generosity, she cried. Shut up! Charlie seized Ava and struck her forcefully. He was trembling with anger. You deceitful snake. It's because of you that things have deteriorated this way between us and Linda. We discovered your diary concealed beneath the table. You don't even care for us. You approached us out of envy to harm Linda through us, he roared. What they revealed solved mysteries that had haunted me across 2 lives. Ava used her knowledge of Ethan and Charlie's preferences, gleaned through me, to mold herself into their perfect image. She played her games, acting shy then affectionate, like a feline teasing mice, keeping them both under her control. Realizing she couldn't talk her way out, Ava ceased pretending. Her eyes reddened with fury as she yelled at her admirers. So what if I did it intentionally? Why should she possess everything from the start while I subsisted on her scraps? I'm as attractive and skilled as she is, so why are you both so hopelessly enamored with her? I'm not content, not even slightly. I desired to destroy her, to demonstrate that her affection was worthless, just garbage I discarded, she screamed. Charlie had reached his limit and kicked Ava forcefully. A childhood troublemaker, he fought without restraint. This time, he gave it his all. Concerned they'd disgrace the Miller family name, I intervened. Enough! If you're going to brawl, do it outside. Don't create a spectacle in front of me, I ordered. Linda, I'm profoundly sorry. I was excessively foolish, deceived by her falsehoods, forgetting our shared history, forgetting how wonderful you are, they said, gazing at me, defeated, dissolving into uncontrollable weeping. Ethan kept murmuring, I never ceased caring about you. It's just, you were always so intelligent, so remarkable. I questioned if I could ever win you over, so I deceived myself and believed those things. They believed this would bring me down, keep me bound to them eternally. But life didn't proceed as they anticipated. I fought, grew wings in the mire, and soared far away. They signed their wills, bequeathing everything to Ava. Ava ended up hospitalized, her face marred, and expelled from school. Ethan and Charlie faced repercussions as well. I exerted pressure on their families through my professor, ensuring they remained distant from my life. They could intimidate an orphaned Linda, but not the determined warrior I had become. Returning to the research facility, the sun was radiant. I didn't know what the future held for the 3 of them, but I knew my path was unobstructed, a path brimming with splendor.